What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for our second Tottenham update of the day. 5 headlines to get through. We're going to start off with Emerson Royale, as Calcio Mercato said that Emerson Royale has agreed to join AC Milan. Milan now must find an agreement with Tottenham, with the player determined to join the club. Italian media reporting that Tottenham have dropped their asking price for Emerson to 20 million euros, and Emerson would be keen to join AC Milan to follow in the footsteps of his idol Cafu.
Cafu. Oh, what a comparison. Oh, God. I never knew Emerson was as good as Cafu. Maybe, well, potentially. That would be quite the comparison there.
I don't think they're comparing it, but he just wants to follow in his footsteps.
Cafu was obviously an AC Milan legend, stepping out in Champions League finals. I'm sure if AC Milan's old enough to remember Cafu, I don't think I would want to see Emerson, that's for sure. But obviously this is easy bit, isn't it? Getting Emerson and AC Milan to agree.
Yeah,
that was always going to be the easy part. And now it's on Levy to agree with the club to agree with for a price, and that's always going to be the one that's going to take the most time. But hopefully, 20 million is not a price that they balk at.
Yeah, do you think there'll be wiggle room from Levy on that? Because, you know, at first we were hearing 30 million euros, now it's down to 20 million euros. How low do you go?
I think he'll probably want a whole package of 20, whether it's 15 plus add-ons or something. He'll want a package of 20, and I'm sure they can come to that.
Yeah, I hope so. It has been confirmed today. Fonseca is joining AC Milan. I think he's left Lille as of today, and the expectation is that he will be making the switch to Milan. I don't know if that's going to have any bearing on the deal or not, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Hope not.
Next up is Heung-min Son. This one came out of the blue, as Rudy Galetti says that Fenerbahce have included Heung-min Son on the shortlist for the summer. Mourinho knows him well, having trained him over a year and a half during his time with Tottenham. A Saudi club is also on his tracks. I mean, stay away, Jose. And why would he ever think of going to Fenerbahce anyway? But Tottenham's Daniel Levy made a statement to Sports Digital saying Heung-min Son to Fenerbahce rumours are a complete lie.
Interesting that he spoke to them. I don't know whether he was doing an interview with them anyway and they brought it up, or he specifically made a statement to that publication.
I imagine it would have been the former rather than the latter.
Maybe. I think it's either way. I haven't seen any other interview quotes from him, so I think that is quite interesting. He did come out to completely deny it. But yeah, he's never going to go to Fenerbahce. If he is going to move, it's going to be to at the moment, look, he's still 31. He's still banging in goals in the Premier League. He was still one of the top goal contributors to the Premier League last season. So I don't think he'll see himself at the stage where it's time to move to Fenerbahce of all places. I think he's not at that stage yet. And as he said before, he's still got so much to achieve at Tottenham. He's rejected Saudi moves previously, because even with big money, because he feels like he's still got unfinished business at Tottenham. So this was never a starter, surely.
And regardless of how much you can offer Tottenham for Heung-min Son, I don't think it's an offer they'll ever accept it, because he's worth so much more to the club than whatever a transfer fee can bring in, I believe.
And how much Fenerbahce are going to offer anyway? They're going for 100 million? I don't think so.
But I'm saying, even if you do get an 100 million offer, I'm still rejecting that.
Yeah, I don't think they would have that money on the table. So I think the whole thing is complete non-starter.
Complete non-starters. Just stay away from our Sonny. There's no need to bring him up in all this media garbage.
Well, he did play well under Mourinho when he was there.
He played very well under Mourinho, but that doesn't mean you go and follow him to Fenerbahce.
I don't think he'd want to go play under Mourinho again. I don't think. Maybe he would, but I'd be surprised.
Maybe in the last stage of his career, but I don't think he's there just yet. He's still got so much more to give Tottenham, like you said. And like he said as well, he doesn't want to stop at this club until he wins a trophy there to become a real Tottenham legend, even though I think he's there already. Anyway, let's move on and talk about Andreas Pereira. A Brazilian publication, GE Globo, say that Pereira is unlikely to remain at Fulham next season. Newcastle, Villa and Tottenham have expressed their interest in having the midfielder, who initially wants to define his future only after competing for Brazil at Copa America this summer. So it's interesting that he has been called up to the squad. He has had a good season for Fulham, but I feel like we need to be setting our sights higher than Andreas Pereira.
Yeah, he's not a bad player. Obviously, he does quite well with set pieces. I think for Fulham, he's actually a very good kind of transitional player. He picks up the ball in the pockets of space and causes trouble for the opposition. I don't see him as like a real high quality player. I probably see him as like a couple of rungs below like a Maddison. Like I think, like for example, if Lo Celso and Pereira had the same like game time, I would say Lo Celso is probably a better player than Pereira. But I think Pereira obviously is available often. He doesn't get injured as much, and he is a good player. I just don't know. I think he probably would fit Ange Ball. And I think you can probably get worse backups than Pereira. I just don't see him as like a massive upgrade on our squad if we would sign him.
I think he's a player that you sign that you're probably going to be wanting to get rid of in 2 or 3 years' time, minimum.
Yeah, probably. I like him.
Maximum.
I think technically he's decent. I don't see him having an incredible shot. I think his passing is probably his best element of his game, but I don't know. It's not one that excites me.
Not at all. And I think like where he's at right now at Fulham, I don't think like you get much better than that for Andreas Pereira. Like mid-table Premier League, I think that's where he's at.
I think so. From what I've seen, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is a top 6 player ready to explode.
But he is in the Brazil squad though.
From what I've seen, he seems to me like a mid-range Premier League player.
Let's talk about Conor Gallagher once again, as Liam Twomey from The Athletic says that Tottenham held serious talks with Chelsea about signing Gallagher last summer, but an unbridgeable gap in their respective valuations meant that it went no further. Spurs and Chelsea didn't do business with one another during the Roman Abramovich era due to the rivalry between the two clubs. However, with Clearlake and Todd Boehly now at the helm at Chelsea, it is likely that any offer that is made will be considered on its merits rather than rejected out of hand due to the identity of the bidders. So clearly Boehly and Clearlake don't understand the rivalry, or maybe they just don't want to buy into that kind of stuff.
I think they're just purely like Abramovich was different, wasn't he? Because he was literally there to like launder all his money essentially through his club, and he wanted to like get to grips with Chelsea. He wanted everyone to get on board. They're purely seeing it as an investment. They're purely seeing it as a business, a kind of business like. And although they're spending a lot of money, they're seeing them as investments. They're not seeing it as buying the league in a sense. So for them, an offer's an offer. Well, it doesn't matter who it comes from, I guess. And I think, first of all, they probably don't understand the rivalry. Why would they? They're Americans who've only just bought the football club a couple of years ago. And second of all, they're seeing money on the table. They're not going to care who it's from, are they? So,
especially with the situation they're in.
Exactly. So that's what puts Tottenham in a good financial situation up against Aston Villa for this deal. But it's what Connor wants as well. It's what how kind of stubborn they are on their 50 million asking price. Will Connor as well with his wage demands? Is he going to be in line with what Tottenham are willing to offer? So there's still a lot of moving parts, but the fact that they're willing to deal with Tottenham is a positive.
Yeah. Positive in whichever way you want to look at it, whether you want Conor Gallagher or not. Like I said in the update earlier, I do feel like there's more pressing kind of areas on the pitch that we need to be focusing on rather than like the number 8/10 position, albeit we do need a 10 with Lo Celso going out the door. But I'd so much prefer, like, if you're talking about Conor Gallagher for 50 million or an Eze for 60 million, there's one clear winner there for me. One clear winner, and that's Eberechi Eze. Last but not least, we're going to talk about Brian Brobby of Ajax. He was asked about a possible move away and what clubs he would be interested in, what would his dream clubs be. He said Real Madrid, Manchester United, Arsenal and Tottenham. Those are nice clubs, but if I stay at Ajax, that's certainly not a bad punishment. So it's still a punishment then if you stay at Ajax, but it's interesting how he's mentioned Tottenham in that.
Yeah, he names all those big clubs, and another big club, and all those big clubs in Arsenal. I'm glad we're amongst those names. It shows the stature of the club at the moment, where we're at. So maybe if we are interested, he would consider coming here. I don't know if he's the answer, but he's obviously had a brilliant season for Ajax. So you have to look at him. And there are rumours that Arsenal will be interested. Not really any rumours at the moment that Tottenham are looking at him, but look, with that kind of goal record, we do need a striker. So if he's willing to come here, maybe that's one to look at. Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see because he's been called up for the Netherlands at the Euros this summer. So if he has a good tournament. Who was ahead of Xerxes from... Oh, did Xerxes not get called up? Yeah. Wow. That's a big shout from... who's the manager? Ronald Koeman. It's a big shout from Koeman because Xerxes as well in himself has had a good season, but Brobby's, I think, numbers absolutely surpass Xerxes. Weghorst over Xerxes. Yeah. But Weghorst, I think, is actually an all right tournament player because he had something different, doesn't he? True. As you saw at the World Cup. No. But anyway, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about all the different various updates that we have brought you today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.